Hi, I'm Eva. Today we're going to talk about the Serenity series. But before I do that, just want to talk about what Serenity means to me. And that probably is a question that's on everybody's mind. And in the search for Serenity, that was how I came across Payal. And I'm just so glad I met her. And now over to Payal, and she'll talk more about the Serenity series. Payal.
Thanks, Eva. Hi, everybody. I'm Payal, and some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm in the healing field, and I have been for a while, and I'm very passionate about it. We decided to do the Serenity series because a few of my friends who I've been speaking to, and I would just be saying ad hoc things on the phone to them, and they were like, "This needs to get out there. People need to hear this." And after a lot of encouragement and pushing, I decided to go ahead with something called the Serenity series. So it's a series of very short videos to give people different tools and abilities to move forward in their life where they feel that they're stuck or for resolution. It's across very topics. There's nothing specific. If there's something that you all would like to share, please, send me messages, send me questions, whatever it is, and however I can answer to the best of my ability, I will. So I chose the word serenity because serenity basically means clearing. It means unclouding. It means calm without the storm. And somewhere I feel in the current situation that all of us have been put in, it is about a different perception of understanding where we are at in our lives, who we are. So many people have told me, but I just don't like the word meditation. I can't do meditation. I have ADHD. I can't do the meditation. It's too difficult for me to focus for so long. So I think this is meditation really is about self-perception, self-introspection, and self-understanding. So it's about spending that 5 minutes with yourself to just know where you are at in your life, where you would like to be, where you feel that your limitations are, if you feel you have any limitations, or if there's any weakness, where you feel you can strengthen your strengths, or where you feel you can discover your strengths. So the Serenity series is really about each of us focusing right now and understanding this complete full stop that we've all been brought to, and the understanding that after the full stop, a new sentence starts. And what is the new sentence, the new chapter of where we would like to begin from? What is it that we would like to see as the ending of our book and the stories of our lives? And that is where we decided to do the Serenity series. And it's just going to be very short questions and answers, small tips and tools on how we can move forward in our lives and how we can decide for ourselves, our own perception, our own future, our own hope, and maybe just reconnecting or connecting back to ourselves, to things maybe we didn't even know that we had, or we realize now in this break that we have right now that we are capable of doing. Over to you, Eva.
That's amazing, Pyle. I mean, we do come to a point in our life where, we feel that perhaps something is missing, or, I should be doing something else, or maybe we're completely disconnected with ourselves. So what would you say is a good starting point for self-introspection, self-realization? How do we go about it? What's a good point to start?
So I think a good point to start is to first understand that we already have it within ourselves. It's not something that we need to search or we need to seek outside of ourselves. To know that there are different tools and different ways, different methods to really connect with ourselves. Some people prefer like something like a guided meditation. Some people would prefer to go for something in a class. Some people prefer to learn together. But this is also something which is part of the journey of doing it on our own and ourselves. So whether it is we believe in God, in a larger energy field, in a vibration, in the cosmos, however it is, to understand that all of that is within us. Each of us is divine. Each of us has a piece of divinity within us. Each of us has a connection to a higher self. We are born with that. So it's not something that we need to find outside ourselves. It's just about reconnecting to that. And a simple way to do that would just be to sit quietly, close your eyes, and just observe your thoughts and understand that the mind is something which is continuously in play. So it's difficult to rear the mind in. There are constantly thoughts. But if I focus on the heart, and the best way to focus on the heart is through breathing, to be in the moment, to inhale in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth, and understand that you're doing the breathing through your heart. So if you find it difficult to focus on the heart because your mind is constantly racing with so many emotions, so many anxieties, so much of doubt, so much of fear, all of those things that as humans we all have, and it's natural to have. But if I focus on putting my hand on my heart and I just breathe in from there, I breathe in deeply without any pressure on any parts of my body, and just exhale out through my mouth. And when I blow out with the sound of the breeze or the waves. So it's just like this. And just continue to do that for maybe a minute, and you'll immediately you'll feel a sense of calmness, you'll feel a sense of equilibrium, you'll feel a sense of centeredness. If 1 minute isn't good enough, do it 2 minutes. Do whatever you're comfortable with. The idea is not to push yourself. The idea is to be comfortable with yourself, to accept yourself, to know yourself, to reconnect with yourself. So that's the most basic first point, I would say, to reconnecting to who you are and what you are. So it's not necessary to do a meditation to do that. It's not necessary to do anything else. It's just about you being with you, and you understanding you accepting you for everything that we are, with no judgment, because it's very easy for us to look down on our lives and say, I'm not good enough, this hasn't worked out for me. It's the easiest thing in the world. And if I ask people what their strengths are, they look at me blankly for a minute and then start giggling nervously and say, oh, we never thought of that. So I think this would be a good point to start with, understanding what are my strengths, where do I really feel that these are my strengths, and this is what I would like to make my strength if it's not your strength. And think about things like that. And starting that from that point onwards, we move on from there.
That makes so much sense. I mean, that exercise, has helped me so much during times of turmoil. That's a very good tip. However, in this, day and age where, we're just always running, after one thing or another, our schedule is, always full. Sometimes I think we've lost that ability to just sit and just be still and be in the moment. You know what I mean? I think that is when, your thoughts, completely come in and, take over. And maybe, I don't know, what do you recommend we do at that time? I know you said breathe, but and you're like, oh my god, I need to do this and I need to do this, and you get into a panic state. How would you suggest we handle that?
So I think the best part is that right now the universe also seems to have thought of that for everybody, all of us. So we've come to a forced halt, and there's no option but to be at a complete halt right now. But yes, the mind doesn't usually halt. There are always thoughts that go on. The mind is a very complicated system that we have, very intelligent as well. It creates different patterns of defense mechanisms, thoughts, emotions, belief systems for us to protect us. So whatever the mind is doing, whatever negative thought that you have, whatever, it's a closure in a form of a defense mechanism for us to feel safe. So one of the methods that one can do in a situation like that, when the mind is, maybe you have it in your heart to say, I do want to change, but your mind bombards you with the 5,000 things of saying, no, nothing's going to change. It's not possible. Look at you. Everything you've tried hasn't changed, whatever it may be. It's that constant negative talk. At that time, to understand that to talk to the mind as a child, the mind is a very stubborn child. It's trying to find its way to find the easiest solution. And the easiest solution is avoidance. The easiest solution is there is no solution. So if I go back to my heart space and I connect back to my heart, I'm able to talk to my mind in the way of, I understand the thought that you're giving me right now. And I know that I've always worked from that thought process, always, in however 40, 50 years of my existence, I've only worked from that thought process. But today I think I'd like to try something different, because the first step would be to really understand what my strengths are. And then I'm talking to my mind about my strengths. So I'm basically saying that I know that I haven't succeeded so far in whatever it was. Maybe because you're right, I didn't have the belief in the past. Maybe you're right, I did fail in the past. But right now, what I'm thinking is, I would like to operate and try something different. What I would like to do is really take that one strength that you feel is yours and say, I want to do this from the point of view of my strength right now. And I want to see where that goes. And I want to just see if I can try a different way of doing it. And when I try a different way of doing it, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But there's something that I would like to make a movement in a different direction. And I feel that will make me feel strong. It will make me feel safe, and it will make me feel better. And I feel when you start calming the mind down and the mind starts to listen to the new thought process, you're creating and firing new brain waves, new neural paths towards that possibility. And when you put in that possibility into your mind, you're creating a new path towards that possibility and generating hope and generating a possibility, a new perception, a new environment. And in that way, you're creating a new cause and an effect. And that way you're seeing things in your environment come to you. But it all needs to start with you. So there are many people who read many, self-help books, they're very good at it. They're extremely good at reading it. But when the gap comes, when you are not able to apply it to that particular situation, that particular moment. So I may also say now that the best way would be for you to just breathe in a situation when you want to react, and you just respond, you don't react. But in that moment, it's very hard to do, but also understand it's not impossible to do. If you try and
Mm.
you attempt and you take that minute to just breathe, it can happen and it will happen. So the other day I was doing a meditation for a very young girl. She was she was dealing with a couple of things, and I connected her to her truth, her higher self, her true nature. And the response that she got back from that was, uh, at a stage of that age, it's a young age, a young girl, it was a very simple answer that the higher self gave to her. It was just that in that moment of stress or anger or anxiety, you just need to breathe and count in your mind. Now that's a very simple thing, and as adults we might probably laugh at that and say, I mean, I don't think that that's going to work. But it's a very simple tool that at that moment, if you just break that thought process by thinking differently, by breathing and saying, I don't need to respond right now, take a breath, take a count, and you'll know that there'll be a minimal shift, but there will be a shift. And that shift starts to
Right.
grow, and you start to find that you are able to respond to that situation differently, because you're not reacting from the emotions that have overcome you at that moment. And you're reacting and you're going to respond more from a point of equilibrium rather than just bursting out and saying things that you wouldn't mean or want to do.
Wow, Vile, such powerful words there. Beliefs, so what in essence what you're saying is, if the same approach or the same approach yields the same results, right? So it's about trying something new. And in order to do that, you first of all have to understand what your strengths are and then operate from there, from a position of strength. And then yeah, it sounds like, it is absolutely doable. And I know that I have tried it myself. And, it's like, yeah, 4 steps forward and I'd say 1 step, 2 step backwards, but it has really made a difference, Payal.
So
Thank
Eva,
you for
maybe
that.
you could share a little bit about, not necessarily the details of what it is that you went through, but just how you were able to. So not from a perspective of me being a healer, but as a perspective of you receiving the healing, what were the tools that you were able to use or you found useful for you to be able to move forward?
Yeah, so Payal, thank you for that. That has, in my life, made a total difference. I was at a stage where, I knew I wanted to pause and I knew I wanted to take a breath, but I just didn't know how to do it. And yesterday I was listening to another person that, does healing work. And he talked about GPS being it's just like a guide. And yes, I read a lot of books, I understood everything, but I couldn't apply it. And that is when just as we need mentors in our life and we need teachers to teach us things, and this is where I found it absolutely helpful for me to move forward, and may I add, move forward fearlessly. My experience was I was stuck. I just didn't know how to move forward. And with time I realized it was actually the belief systems, the limited thoughts, the limitations of the mind that was holding me back. And well, I'm glad that as a result of us working together, we are now able to bring this, forward to the world, so that many people out there, if they're in a position that I was in, would be able to take advantage of this and bring the difference that they need to our life.
Fabulous, Eva. Wonderful. So I'm going to ask you to end now, because we're going to come back with many more answers, many more tools, many more tips as and when we get them.
Yeah, sure. So everyone, if you've enjoyed this, go ahead and come back for more, because there's a lot of wisdom here, as you can tell. And yeah, hopefully these tips has been very useful. And see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.